Hi guys, it's Sarah from Buttons and Fangirls, and today I'll be doing a recommendations topic for you guys. This recommendation came from Tarnell Bellinger. She asked me politely if I would please do a recommendation video for Lurlene Mcdaniel, so that's what I have for you guys today. Some books I will go into vivid detail about, while others I will give a quick mini synopsis about the subject matter it deals with. So if you want, like, buzzwords, I should say. So I'm not gonna get too into those ones, but I do have a few right here in this stack that I'll go into. But first, I have my paper sheet. So the first book I have to talk about is Saving Jessica. This deals with the subject matter of kidney failure and doing things for the ones you love, even when other people don't think it's such a great idea. The next book I have is Starry Night by Lurlene Mcdaniel, but more importantly, this one I loved, Christmas Child. This one deals with a sudden infant death and the grief process of losing someone so fast in your life before they are even truly able to live. And it's got a lot of stuff about having faith in God and trying to keep your faith while you just feel like giving up in life. The next one I have here is one of my absolute favorite Lurlene Mcdaniel books. I don't have it with me in a physical copy, even though I swear I did, but I don't have it with me. And that is The Girl Death Left Behind. This one deals with the topic of being orphaned at a young age, and losing everyone in your family that you ever cared for, all the while adjusting to a new school, a new life, and a new set of friends. While dealing with the grieving process. So it's all about those things. The next book I have is A Rose for Melinda by Lurlene Mcdaniel. This one mostly deals with the subject matter of childhood romance, first love, and one of them getting cancer. But it also has a small subject of dance because Melinda loves dance. So if you like those type of stories, this one's definitely for you. The next one I have is A Time Capsule by Lurlene Mcdaniel. This tells the story of a brother and sister. It's mostly about a brother-sister relationship. So there's little to no romance in this book. If you just want a book about family that's by Lurlene Mcdaniel, this one's definitely the one for you. It deals with family relationships and getting through tough times when one of them has cancer, and finding yourself in this big crazy world after the thing you wanted to be so much when you were a kid seems to be a little lost on you. So the next one I have is Prey by Lurlene Mcdaniel, and this one basically putting it, deals with a student-teacher relationship. This is the most different Lurlene Mcdaniel book I've read, but it's definitely a fun one, so you should definitely check that one out. And then finally on this paper, I still got more right over here. I have Reach for Tomorrow by Lurlene Mcdaniel. This one is the last book in the Make-A-Wish series, so it's just getting the first book in the Make-A-Wish series, which is, I think, Make-A-Wish Foundation, The Legacy, I think is the first one. So Reach for Tomorrow, I can't really say much about it, but it's definitely one of my favorites. And most of these Make-A-Wish series deal with a camp for sick kids, so I liked reading about that when I was younger. And the next book I have here is Breathless by Lurlene Mcdaniel. A few buzzwords from this one is more, All I could really think of right now is there's swimming in here, there's dealing with cancer when it's at the final stages, and this book also has the controversial topic of the Right to Die Act. So if you want to read a book about the Right to Die Act that's short, but will make you think about it, I definitely recommend Breathless for you guys. Because usually I wasn't on board with the Right to Die until I read this book, and now I'm like, if you want to make the choice, go ahead and make the choice. I can't stop you. The next book I have here is How Do I Love Thee? 3 Stories by Lurlene McDaniel. But more importantly, I like the one Night Vision. And the only I think the synopsis for this one's perfect. This one's, in Night Vision, Brett finds a way to brighten a special girl's lonely existence. And if you want to know, what the rest are, there's also Bobby's girl, who has a girl named Dana in it, who must choose between 2 brothers, both of whom she loves. So that one definitely deals with loving 2 siblings at once. If you're into love triangles that feature 2 brothers, definitely pick that one. And then, we have Laura's Heart, which is the story of a 16-year-old girl named Laura who was hospitalized on a regular basis because of a weak heart. When tragedy strikes the one she loves, she realizes her heart is stronger than she thought. This book was good, but I definitely recommend Night Vision because it deals with a topic that I don't really hear a lot about, and that's being allergic to the sun. I never really knew that people could be allergic to the sun until I read that book, and that's mostly what that book talks about. The next book I have here is The End of Forever by Lurlene Mcdaniel, which features the novel Somewhere Between Life and Death and Time to Let Go. This tells a story about Erin, who has just lost her sister Amy in a car crash, and it's deals with the aftermath of Erin losing her sister in such a tragic way. One thing I learned about Lurlene Mcdaniel is I wouldn't expect happy books from her. She writes a lot about death and grief. And then the last book that I'm not going to talk too much about is Don't Die, My Love by Lurlene McDaniel. This tells the story of Julie and Luke. It tells a story about childhood and high school sweethearts. They've been together ever since they were younger. And then Luke gets sick. Very sick really fast. And Julia has to come to terms with it. So this one definitely is more on the side of sticking with people you love. Love no matter how bad the situation may become. But definitely pick this one up. That was a good one. And now I'm getting into some of my favorites. My ultimate Lurlene McDaniel favorites. So first up here, I'm gonna read the back of the books for you guys. That way I don't totally botch the book synopsis like I've been doing for the past couple takes of this. But the very first one I have here is Sometimes Love Isn't Enough by Lurlene McDaniel. So here goes nothing. Everyone says junior high will be a blast. A new school, new boys, and a chance to star in the school musical. But at home, Andrea's world is falling apart. Her parents are always fighting. Her mom's new job means more responsibility for Andrea and less time to do the things she loves. And now that she's in a new school, Andrea is determined that no one will ever find out about her brother and his problem. Can Andrea keep her family together and keep their secret from getting out? And how can the boy at school who seemed to hate her possibly be the one who understands her? I like this book because it deals with the topic of divorce, and it also features a character who is autistic, which I didn't really know a lot about autism before I read this book. I didn't really know a lot about it. A lot about Lurlene McDaniel's book is that they really educate you about things that you probably wouldn't know about if you didn't read books about what they were. Where I read these books when I was younger, when I didn't really get diseases that much. So, Brad, one that hits home. The next book I have here is Brianna's Gift. Another really sad book. This is gonna be these books are tearjerkers. Like anything by Lurlene Mcdaniel, get ready to cry because there's not a single book I haven't cried about. So, 13-year-old Sissy's mother always says that Sissy's 16-year-old sister marches to the beat of a different drummer. But it isn't until Brianna runs away with an older boy that Sissy begins to understand what their mother means. When Brianna returns home alone and pregnant, Sissy and her mother try to help her come to terms with her options. As if helping Brianna make choices weren't complicated enough, things suddenly change again. After Brianna becomes critically ill, Sissy's mother sees only one next step, but Sissy feels she must try to persuade her mother to make a different decision. Sissy needs to grow up fast and do what she can to maintain Brianna's legacy. And at the holiday season, it seems more impossible than ever. Can Sissy make her mother understand that there is only one way to accept Brianna's gift? This one is heart-wrenching, and it was so sad for me. I totally cried during this book. It's definitely a tearjerker. I can't say what it involves because it's a huge spoiler for this book, and this book is like super short. But what Lurlene Mcdaniel book doesn't make me cry at this point? So the next book I have here, it definitely made me cry. It's definitely a tearjerker, and that is Baby Alicia is Dying. Dying by Lurlene Mcdaniel. This one is, Desi thinks it's totally unfair that innocent baby Alicia was born HIV positive. Now, 8-month-old Alicia lives at childcare because she was given away by her sick teenage mother. Desi can relate to feeling unloved. Her parents give her all the material things she needs, but there seems to be a wall between her mother and herself. Working at childcare has opened Desi's heart and allowed her to feel the love she's been longing for. But Alicia is not her child, and there is no cure for her condition. Can Desi cope with the harsh realities and still believe in love? And this book is definitely a tearjerker. If you hate, if you have difficult times reading about child death like I do, I wouldn't suggest picking this one up. It was really hard to get through. A lot of me hoped that this baby would make it, but like this book says, there is no cure for her condition. There was a huge spoiler in the synopsis. So, sorry about that. Now, the next books I have here are in series, and I'm sorry about the spoilers in advance. This book has been through wear and tear. And that is Angels in Pink by Lurlene Mcdaniel. This tells a story about 3 girls and their adventures in candy striping, all while dealing with their other personal relationships. So the first book is Angels in Pink, Kathleen's story, then we follow Raina's story, and then last but not least, we follow Holly's story, which has probably one of the saddest endings I've ever read in a book. The other ones, while I deal with hard topics, the third one is definitely a harder topic to deal with. But if I had to pick which one my favorite one out of the 3 is, it's definitely the first one. The first one's definitely my favorite. The next book I have here for you is one of my absolute favorites, and that's Telling Christine Goodbye by Lurlene Mcdaniel. So, this one says Trisha Thompson and her best friend Christina are having a great senior year. Trisha and her boyfriend Cody are making plans to attend Indiana University together in the fall, and Christina has received a scholarship to the University of Vermont. Everything would be perfect if only Trisha got along with Christina's controlling boyfriend Tucker, who's trying to convince Christina not to go away from college. Their lives are changed one night when Tucker drives them all home from a basketball game. His car hits a patch of black ice and overturns. Tucker walks away with barely a scratch, but Trisha is injured. Cody is in a coma, and Christina is dead. Those left behind must learn that it will take time for their scars, both visible and invisible, to heal, and they must find the courage to move on in their lives. This book deals with the really hard topic of losing a friend, and definitely other conditions, because, oh my god, this book. It was so hard to get through, let me tell you. And last but not least, this one is my absolute favorite Lurlene Mcdaniel book. It's the one I recommend every time I recommend her. And this is mostly because this book was so relatable to me whenever I bought it. I was going through my great-grandmother's condition while I was reading this book, and I was telling her all about this book when she was still alive, and I have such a connection with this book because of it. And that is Garden of Angels by Lurlene Mcdaniel. So this one is in the small town of Corners, Georgia. Darcy has just started high school. Her older sister Adele goes to dances at the army base, and their mother tends her beautiful garden, the biggest and best in town. It's 1974, and the country is struggling to come to terms with the Vietnam War. But Darcy's world is changed forever when her mother goes to Atlanta for tests. The diagnosis is not good, breast cancer. There is so much Darcy wants to talk to her mother about, the war and what happens to the soldiers who were in it, the feeling she is having for the new and troubled boy in school. But she can't, so she faces solace in her mother's garden. There she can help the flowers that her mother planted bloom. I know it sounds really cheesy. This book is amazing. It's probably one of the best books I've read. It's one of my absolute favorite contemporary reads to this day. And this cover is just gorgeous. I love the black and white, but this one thing cover, it really goes along well with the story, and I love covers that go well with the story. One thing I noticed about Lurlene Mcdaniel's books is that the covers are very simplistic, but they also tell a lot about the story, what she's writing. But look at that cover. Isn't that cover, like, gorgeous? I love it to death. But there you guys have it. That was my recommendations video for Lurlene Mcdaniel. I really hope you enjoy it. But if you have other recommendations for me and you really want me to talk about other authors like Rochelle Mead or not Lurlene Mcdaniel, or Ellen Hawkins, comment down below, let me know, and we'll discuss them in another recommendations video, and I will see you guys in my next video. Bye!